Bag, I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of our presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. B1 code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. B1AG.
What's growing on? What's growing on? What is growing on? Welcome back to B1AG Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris. We also have Farmer Brown, the MC. Welcome to the cafe. Here at the cafe, we talk about culture, agriculture, food, and environment. Interesting thing is going on. Walmart. We all know Walmart. Big box store. They've strategically placed themselves around the populace around the country. And, we go to Walmart to buy a lot of our products, including food. However, Walmart is closing half of its stores in Chicago. And these stores that they're closing in Chicago just happen to be placed in three in Chicago South and West Side neighborhoods, which are primarily minority neighborhoods, which have long struggled with grocery and retail access. Here at B1AG, we're going to take a deep dive on this subject because there's a lot going on with this story that a lot of the major news platforms just are not talking about. So, Farmer Brown, how do you feel about Walmart closing 4 of its stores in these primarily minority neighborhoods? What say you?
First, I'd just like to say peace to the B1 fam. As of 2021, 2 years ago, Walmart serves 240 million customers each week in 11,400 stores across in various e-commerce websites. It's mainly targeted to urban and rural communities. 240 million customers a week. Within that number, we're talking about tens of millions of melanated people. Pieces. We're talking about tens of millions of melanated people who depend on Walmart as a food source. When you bring up Chi-Town, I can't help but to think about Chief Keef, Michael Jordan, Kanye West, Oprah Winfrey. The list goes on. I'll even say Perfect Strangers. They're not melanated. You think about Steve Urkel. Chicago has been an archetype of overall Black American culture since we were growing up. And so for this dynamic to be happening in Chicago, I do think this is definitely a canary in the cave for the rest of the melanated family to look at and ponder. What if our local Walmart goes out of business like these up in Chicago? And like you said, the deeper aspects of how these Walmarts came to be in the first place. This is definitely a deep dive. Let's get your snorkel.
Morning, an abrupt closing for these 4 Walmart stores, really just about 5 days after these communities found out about Walmart's departure. Now, the residents are, of course, frustrated with the loss of the store, and already having been a food desert, they claim. They plan to voice those frustrations in a rally here later today. Walmart says it just hasn't been profitable in these neighborhoods, claiming to lose tens of millions of dollars over the years. Now, the concern for many, like you said, Mark, comes with another pharmacy leaving, some healthy food options, as Walmart being a key option for those options. Now, residents say they just feel left out.
I would like this area to look no different than other areas that I visit. There's Mariano's, there's Whole Foods, there's Target, Walmart's. What's so different about this neighborhood? We pay taxes as well.
People feel abandoned, right? I mean, where are the healthy eating options in the neighborhood? You know, y'all want us to continue to go to, to eat fried foods. You know, we need some healthy eating options.
Now, Jamal Cole, who you just heard from there, the founder of a local organization, plans to host that rally set here for noon. They plan to voice their frustrations. And Mayor-elect Brendan Johnson says the city plans to work to find different ways to fill the void that this loss is leaving behind. Mark, Kate.
Watch.
You see the main concern, healthy food options. Healthy food options. These are neighborhoods on the west and south side of Chicago that have historically been just redlined out of the market when it comes to healthy food options, grocery stores, and then retail. These are not only healthy food options, but jobs. You know, these are food deserts. These are places where there aren't many jobs to be had. You know, for some people, you know, Walmart is a great option to what's available outside of Walmart. And
Bro, I think about this dynamic, right? So if you go back to the history of Walmart's, we were at Northside Lexington. I remember it was Kroger, we had Hills, we had Randall's, we had Winn-Dixie, we had a couple of local food stores. You know, that at that time the hood stores didn't have green meat; it was still actual meat and produce. So one of the things Walmart did was it came through and knocked out the smaller businesses, the smaller moms and pops, the more localized food stores, right? And so what happened is people didn't have a choice. And so I think it's ironic now. The argument is Walmart, why are you leaving me? Like at one point I got love. You know, I was loved and I was cared for by somebody who was right here where I was at. Then somebody came through and pimp slapped me. And now we're asking the proverbial pimp slapper, why are you leaving? And so, and I'm trying to say this funny from not to crying how far we have fallen. In 1925, in 1915 we still own 1925 we own 15% of the land in North America. As what we call melanated people, we were 15% of the farmers and producers of food. Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Rosewood, these thriving communities all through the Southeast. This is back when old school Chicago, right? This is when they were thriving, when we were producers. I doubt that the people who the original OGs of Southside Chicago, West Side Chicago, people that migrated from down south, I doubt that they were worried about a store like Walmart for their food. Because these are the people that understood how to work numbers. They came up with economies within their economy. This is what our ancestors come from, working with what they had and making it great. And so to find ourselves in 2023, where the argument is, why are you that who destroyed local jobs? Why are you leaving me? I think that's very telling. And like I said at the beginning, Chicago is the archetype of Black culture in what we call North America.
Now, one fact that I know has been lost in the shuffle in reporting this story is that the purpose and the reason why they opened those stores on the west and south side of Chicago, it goes back to George Floyd. As a positive gesture, reaction to George Floyd, you know, the untimely unliving of George Floyd, how that gripped the nation. Walmart said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make this a part. We're going to do this initiative to bring jobs to these urban communities, these food deserts. We're going to bring fresh food options. And that was in 2020. In just a short 3-year span, we see that now that is a rubber check. That was a rubber check, and they are pulling back, and they're saying because it's not profitable.
These guilt dollars. Do you remember? I forget which bill it was. There was a bill that basically decriminalized a whole bunch of types of crimes in Chicago, and it actually started January 1st, 2023. And in my mind, as you're saying this, we didn't discuss this before we started prepping. I wonder how long they knew, because it takes a long time to build a store. You know, when you're as large as Walmart, you don't just pop up somewhere with the store. You have a long-term 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20-year plan. And so some point along Piggly Wiggly down south, oh yeah. At some point, somebody had a plan that, okay, we're only going to have this building, this brick and mortar concrete structure here as what we call Walmart for X amount of time. That building ain't going to go nowhere. The building's going to become something else. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but saying that to say, okay, for George Floyd, for it to be for, what do we say? He who feeds you leads you. I'm going to get you hooked, per se. I'm going to get you dependent on my facility. I'm going to get you dependent on my institution to feed you. So, this goes across economic levels, right? There's people in South Side, West Side that's working with millions. So money isn't their problem. Once again, like the bro was saying, accessibility. No matter how much money you got, you don't want to travel an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to go get some food. When you're dealing with a city like Chicago, there's a lot of traffic. Can you hear me?
Yes.
If I'm having to go all these long distances, and this is what the definition of food insecurity is. If I'm having to travel these long distances to get healthy food, for one, I'm going to burn more gas, and we're coming into a world where carbon emissions is going to be a problem. Hey, you've used too much carbon this week, so your card is cut off because you had to get the Fed now to get your Social Security, or you had to get the Fed now to get your federal check from your federal contract or your federal grants or your federal, if you get what I'm saying, or your food stamps. You have to be in this program. You have to have a digital wallet to be able to get your food stamps. So now I've taken away your store and I've limited how much carbon you can use to go to where you're getting your food. And it sounds dystopian, but this is very factual. I've been to South Side and West Side Chicago. These are large areas. There's thousands and tens of hundreds of thousands of human beings that eat. And when you take something like Walmart away from a community, you think you have crime. And like I said, a company like Walmart doesn't just build a store somewhere and do their study about who it is that their shoppers are. And so for them to make this abrupt change, when you think about McDonald's abruptly, we're just going to shut down a lot of our corporate offices. When you think about all these abrupt changes, we were just talking about AI. You think about it was another, local dollars and cost food deserts, absolutely. And so when we think about the trains derailments, a lot of those places where you see these chemical spills, these are good. This is good farmland. If you do deep dives, these are good farmland. This is where the Mormons, this is where a lot of white farmers are. They're getting pushed off of their land as well. Here at B1AG, we like to focus specifically how is all of these things affecting the B1 community. Because at the end of the day, we have to eat too. And we realize that we're not who our ancestors was as far as our participation within this food system. So these are conversations we definitely need to have. It's interesting. My lights, my computers.
But Walmart, they're closing these stores in these communities that have historically been underserved. Now, what I would like to show y'all is the reaction of those communities to Walmart closing. And like I said, when you take away opportunity, you take away food, And Chicago's crime rate is being overly talked about. But again, it really makes people react in a desperate manner.
Breaking out in downtown Chicago on Saturday night as hundreds of young people crowded the streets. And the video coming from this shocking, showing massive groups jumping on cars, causing tourists to flee the sound of gunfire. 2 teens were hospitalized after they were shot in all of this. News Nation affiliate WGN's Courtney Spinelli has the latest on the city's response.
Right now, things are much quieter than last night when hundreds of young people flooded this area, prompting a massive police response. During it, 2 teens were shot and rushed to the hospital, both said to be in fair condition. This right here is what it looked like on the streets of Chicago Saturday night.
We had people jumping on cars. This is insane.
Large numbers of young people crowding the area of the Loop from Michigan Avenue to Clark Street and could be seen jumping on parked cars and smashing windows. 2 times, groups of teens were also seen punching, kicking, and stomping on someone on the ground.
The crime in Chicago is simply out of hand. It's nuts.
Community activists outraged and calling on city leaders to help address the crime.
We need to give the Chicago Police Department the funding and the resources that they need to take care of this crime in our communities.
As chaos unfolded Saturday night, it was enough to disrupt traffic and CTA service. Officers flooded the scene, attempting to control the crowds.
There needs to be more respect for our police officers. There needs to be more law and order. The punks outside in the street, they don't care. They can do anything they want.
In the midst of it all, shots were fired just after 9, leaving 2 teens injured. A 17-year-old boy was hit in the leg, and a 16-year-old boy was shot in the arm.
There were crowds in the streets, there were people yelling, there were police cars. So I used my running capability and we basically ran back to our hotel.
Margaret Vatum says she came to Chicago to see the ballet, but it was the scene in front of her that caused her to move quickly back to her hotel. She's been to the city many times before, but feels uneasy after Saturday's event.
I am kind of nervous about coming to Chicago in warmer weather again. When it's nice and cold, people seem to not be out acting like this, but it was scary.
Locals Stuart and Heidi Floyd say they only saw a large group of kids, but didn't see anything destructive happening.
When we walked by, it was a large group of kids, and they were just kids being kids. So we didn't see any of the vandalism or destruction.
Meantime, this isn't the first time this weekend police have responded to a massive group of teens. Hundreds took over 31st Street Beach Friday night, where a 14-year-old boy was also shot.
This is beautiful city. We do not want to see the city makes a world news again.
This afternoon, outgoing Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot issuing a statement saying the city will not allow public spaces to become a platform for criminal conduct. She also says CPD leadership has assured her that they will make adjustments to address these teen trends as they head into the summer months. Natasha?
All right.
Safety Act, December 16th. That's what it's called, if you can pull that up for the family. The Safety Act, December 16th, 2022. It basically decriminalizes, it was a police reform. And like I said, Walmart, these large corporations, they have their hands in all in politics on the local, state, and federal level. And so it decriminalized, basically, it kind of tied the cops' hands as far as, okay, y'all are looting, man, we're not going to stop you. And there's this concept of I create the problem and I sell you a solution. I know how you're going to react when I take food from you. I know it. And I'm going to have these people so riled up about this. Oh, my God, the crime is just gone crazy. The people are going to ask for me to come through with this hard hand. People are going to ask for it because nobody can force anything on you. And it's using food to do it. Because I don't think these people are complaining or are protesting over being able to buy some bath towels at Walmart. This is where people get their food. The Safety Act. If you can break that down a little bit for the family to understand the timeline of how these things are happening. You think about Lightfoot going out there, you know, that's a whole nother controversy in and of itself. But there are a lot of changes that are coming to Chicago, being this archetype of Black America. And so what we're willing to accept and just see as a news story going on in Chicago when it comes to this issue with Walmart, because where is Chicago the headquarters of? Isn't it McDonald's? When we're willing to watch all of these things go down and we just kind of scroll through, who's gonna have concern when it comes to our neck of the woods? That depends on Walmart, the 240 million people weekly that shop at Walmart.
What we're seeing is an act of desperation, man. If you keep eliminating options, if you keep eliminating just eliminating things for our people or for people in general, they're going to act out. But they still have options in Chicago. And one of the best options they have is urban farming. What those teams don't realize is they're right there in the hub of one of the urban farming capitals in this country. Me and Farmer Brown have personally went there and seen it. They do more urban farming in Chicago than almost any major city in this country.
There's in lots, rooftops, actual urban farms.
They have options. They need to take advantage of these options. Oh, you want to take away Walmart? Okay, we're going to put more energy, more time, put up more of our hands into urban farming.
Let's break that. Let's break down the teams. I'm being very, and I hate to seem callous, but let's just break down logistics. So a garden in an area, what they said, it was a couple hundred teams.
Yes.
And so if there was a protest, yeah, I imagine it lasted more than 5 hours. If there was some sort of codified effort by the OGs, the people that can bring people together, so 100, we'll just say 100 teams times to keep one of these gardens going, you have to do the weeding. You obviously have to build the beds or whatever containers you're going to be gardening in because you're in an urban area. You could cover a lot of ground. And literally for the amount of time, the literal amount of time you spent protesting, upset, or mad, or venting anger, if you're willing to donate now, get paid later, right? If you're willing to donate the same amount of time you were willing to protest what Walmart was doing to actually building a garden within your skill set, maybe you're not into the gardening thing at all, but you're willing to drive around town and distribute. And so part of your job is just to go to these different urban farms. What do you got today? We have orders. You have logistic. Take orders. Somebody's going door to door. We know the Walmart's closing in your neighborhood, but hey, we got X amount of produce this week for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. Upon your subscription, we're able to put more in the ground or more in the containers. We're able to grow vertically and go door to door. Like I said, there's hundreds of thousands of people just within the west side and south side of Chicago. So if you get a small percentage, hey, can we get 50,000? And that's lowballing. If we can get 50,000 people to agree that, hey, you know what, we do want some sort of a little bit more stable, localized food security. Because we see with corporations like a Walmart, what's stopping Costco? I don't know what the other grocery store chains up there, but other people are watching Walmart's moves, right? And like I said, Chicago is like the voodoo doll of the rest of Black America. As we do here, get ready for it. So saying that to say that same energy, the same time put into protesting, okay, this week, 10 of those young men or women that was protesting, we're going to take this set of gardens. We're going to water. That's all we're going to do. I'm not going to pick nothing. I'm not going to plant nothing. All I'm going to do is water. We got the OGs, the people, the gangster gardeners, the Will Allens, the Eric Allens. We're going to have them come show us how to water these gardens. And this is how I spend my hour. I gave back to my hood, back to the trap, back to whatever. But I know that this is important. So I'm going to water for an hour. And there's 10 of us that's going to do it this week. And June 1st through the 6th. Okay, another 10 of us is going to water. Another 10 of us is going to weed. If the educated minded people, the program directors, the people that got the nonprofits, okay, we're going to volunteer some time to transport some soil. from some of these rural areas in Illinois, because we know we're going to need to import soil to meet the demand of just the 50,000 to say, yeah, I'm going to put down, I'm going to order a subscription, a local CSA subscription.
Because at the end of the day, okay, we know that these communities, they looked at Walmart as a source of food. But why buy food when you can buy or create a food source? Why buy bread when you can make a bread factory?
You're creating jobs with the pop-up vendors. Hey, we got vegan wrap sandwiches on 10 blocks. And these are just pickup trucks with trailers. I mean, some of the cats that do lawns, okay, I'll dedicate my truck for X amount of weeks. It's daunting, but I understand, sister, it's daunting, but this is the message. It's a thing called late adapters. But what's happening is, I'm not going to say it's a good thing, but what's happening is we're being forced to take action. So people like yourself who have been bringing it up, it didn't go across deaf ears. It didn't go across deaf ears. They heard, oh, Latoya is crazy. She keep talking about growing. I'm sick of it. But when they go to Walmart and they realize it's closed, when they go to get a dozen of eggs that cost $10, that normally cost 3 or 4, it's slowly gonna kick in, and guess who they're gonna think about? Latoya was crazy, but damn, she was on it. And Latoya's got to be ready and have the mindset that, you know what, I wish you would have listened earlier, but that's past the fact. Let's get to it. This is what we do. So saying that to say, B1AG is about what are the plans? Are we laying out the groundwork for the inevitable? Because the skill sets we need are within all of these areas. We're going to need more brick and mortar places. We're going to need storage. Once again, factor in this whole carbon emission push to reduce carbon. That's going to affect storage space. Absolutely. And what the corporations, they were saying that we haven't done a good job providing jobs for our own. And so here at B1AG, our keep it simple, stupid solution is creating a food system. From there, that was what built civilization. We talk about nation building, mound builders. You had to build a food system first. See, we keep wanting to go in 5 tiers up into this system and then wanting to win. And then when we get chopped down, that's when we realize, man, the person who feeds you leads you. And so we got all of this energy, all of this intellect, all of this financial capital, but my financial capital is useless if there's no store for me to go to. If there's suddenly a barrier, some AI robot puts up a barrier and I can't leave my South Side or West Side community. You heard about them dogs up, the robot dogs in New York. I'm being funny, but not. And so there's nothing illegal about creating a food system, family. And there's nobody stopping that but us. We're in control of that right now. To a critical mass of us say, you know what, I want to eat, and I don't want to eat whatever somebody just gives to me. I want to eat nice, and I know what it is that I want to eat can be grown within 10 miles of where I live. Whether you're talking about chickens, whether you're talking about vegan, whether you're talking about turkeys, goats. You probably want to keep your goats and your larger livestock in the rural areas, but this goes in once again to cooperatives. Okay, so we're going to have our rural producers, the handful of black farmers that you still might have around you. Hey, we're going to get these 50,000 in Chicago that agree we want healthy food. And so we want to make sure that we're going to make sure that we funnel this money to these livestock producers. Those of us that still want to eat beef, pork, chicken, turkey, whatever meats, we're going to grow those in the rural area because that's probably not going to go over too well in the urban. But for produce, for your lettuces, your greens, your carrots, various fruits and vegetables that can be grown in the city, this becomes a co-op, and then you're able to trade. Some of these cats is they're gonna ride around smoking sport, they're gonna ride around anyway. They're gonna ride around Chicago anyway, but hey, why don't you have a hitch on the back of your vehicle that's taking this produce somewhere? And this is how we create the jobs for these young people. Because we can't expect them to just wake up and say, you know what, we're going to start transporting food. But I guarantee if we can get some of the OGs and elders to trigger that same part of their mind that understands how to navigate the drug laws, how to navigate, all of these systems, and put that focus on getting food from point A to point B, making sure that everybody eats, not running out on the plug, being loyal to gang gang. Gang gang is, hey, we need to eat, and we realize that the mainstream ain't worried about us eating. And so if we can take that same energy, that same flame, and apply it simply towards a food system, you will be surprised. I'm not going to say you'll be surprised. It's mathematics. This isn't pie in the sky hope. This is what Black Wall Street did. They had no choice. And that's why Black Wall Street existed. It was fresh after this concept, it was fresh after slavery. Okay, these people holding on tight to their bag. They feel like they've been slighted. I don't have my slave, my cheap labor anymore. And so I'm holding on to what I got. And so the people in Rosewood, all of these black towns across the country, the melanated folks realize, okay, we're going to have to get it how we live. And they leveraged their skill sets and built these towns that we now talk about today. But we can now mix Black Wall Street with Wakanda, family. We have the genetic experience. We have the epigenetics. We have the memory. Before we let AI start doing our thinking for us and erasing history, we have the memory of how to produce food, how to get it from point A to point B. This isn't just, just love everybody. No, this is economy. The population's growing. What do they say? We don't die, we multiply. We still have to eat.
And as long as we have to eat, it's a bag to be got, y'all. It's a bag to be got. There's life to give. There's life to preserve. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things, and that's taking lives. Let's look at some ways we can preserve life, nurture life, grow life, and it begins with food. A family of 4 only needs 800 square feet to eat for 1 year. We have the ancient technology as well as new technology. We don't have to just grow horizontally anymore. We can grow vertically, grow on rooftops, turn abandoned buildings into greenhouses. Let's use these talents we have to grow some food. And even if it doesn't turn into a big corporation, big corporate company, we're eating. What's more important than that? What's more important? But look at this. Agriculture, food, and related industries contributed to 1.05 trillion to the U.S. GDP in 2017. $1 trillion industry.
That's 1,000 billions.
1,000 billions.
Did you know about it?
Big business.
And we only represent 0.4% of the recipients of that $1 trillion industry. It's not because we can't do it. We're the people, our ancestors are the ones that built this industry here. It's not an abstract concept, family. The rap is about to be done. Music was the one thing, the music and culture was the one thing that we had a chance of getting a monopoly on, and we gave that up. It's gone. We'll never get that back, family. And I love hip hop. I am hip hop, right? That's not our bag anymore, family. And we have neighborhoods, hoods full of cities full of our young people that in their minds, hey, we're gonna pop making content. We're gonna pop making songs. It's great if you love the music and the dance. But it's my contention, you might want to dance while you're building something. You might want to dance while you're producing something. Because that train is gone.
It's hard to dance when you're hungry.
Sports, watch what I'm telling you. Now that they got the NIL and okay, we're going to just start employing robots or bringing people from other places that's just glad to play the sport. And so all of the areas where we've been in our minds, yeah, this is what I'm going to do to get this quick bag, they're being cut off. This Fed now, we had talked about it before, but I hope the family, because even if the family that's listening ain't, you know, in the black market, you know somebody that you care about that is. All transactions are going to be traced. This isn't maybe. This is what it is. And so instead of being in a revolting mindset, instead of being in an angry mindset, this is the time to be codified. Absolutely, the veterans. I'm glad you brought that up. These are the OGs that I speak of. These are the OGs that I speak of because veterans, especially the older ones, have a very different skill set that a lot of these young people, these schools are not going to teach them. I heard some disparaging statistics about Chicago schools, and you know it would be disrespectful of me to say them, but saying that to say the schools aren't doing them kids any justice. So when you think about the veterans and the rigorous training that they've had to be veterans, okay, we see the country isn't taking care of them. 5-gallon buckets. We see the country isn't taking care of the veterans. So once again, when we think about this pool of the proverbial 50,000 in Chicago, they say, you know what, we're going to create a food system. The veterans are a big part of that. That's who's going to do the teaching. That's that stern leadership. That's that knowledgeable leadership. You know, because we can't guess our way through this, family. This isn't something that we just want to kind of make up as we go along. Walmart thought this move out years ago. I wouldn't be surprised if they knew what they was going to do before they set the first brick there.
And
Get
Latoya,
them
you brought up a
dependent.
great point, Latoya Boone, and I've already planned on doing a show about this, and that's about the importance of using copper in your growth and growing around where you're growing. But that was a great thing that you brought up, and that's definitely a future show topic soon. By adding copper to that soil, adding copper to your grow operation. Most definitely. But we see, look, they don't care. They don't care. They're closing those stores in Chicago saying that they're not profitable. People have been rioting and looting. We still have to eat. We can feed ourselves. We can feed ourselves. And it's really not that hard. We just need to be aware and be willing and understand the importance of food. Everything runs through agriculture. Agriculture runs the world. Everything runs food, fuel, fiber. From the food that we eat to the materials that we use to make our clothes, to the materials we use to build our homes. Everything runs through agriculture. We've let the proverbial them trick us out of the bag by having negative connotations with agriculture and our people because we think back to slavery. But when we were masters of agriculture, we were also freedom. We were also truly free and masters of our own fate. And that's for everybody. But we are directing this message to our people because, rising tides float all boats. So if we can get our people to rise up, grow their own food, become more sustainable, that's good for the entire country. That's good for everyone. The world.
This is a global economy, family. Melanated family, we don't look. There's some people because this media. There's some people come to America and think we're just lazy, low down because this is the media that they see of us. So all of these immigrants coming here, just getting the Farmers of Color Act and all of this help, they're not coming here feeling sorry for us. They see this news clip of the young people in Chicago blooping legitimately about the Walmart being closed down. Oh yeah, they're seeing these stories and so they're thinking, oh, they deserve it. Ukraine, Afghanistan, these people coming here from war zones. So they're not coming here thinking about, now, how can we make sure that these black folks over here are good and confident? But they see LeBron James. They see the NBA young boys. So they're cool. They're partying and dancing. Let's get to the ag. I've already met Ukrainian farmers, bro. I'm like, damn, you just got here. I'm laughing to not cry, family, because this is a huge opportunity in this window. Nothing's ever the end, but as far as this opportunity right now in the moment, these young kids, these star seeds that we got right now, their minds are ripe for something real. AI is that's virtual. I'm not knocking gamers, but you can't eat your high score. You can't eat VR. You can't eat in VR. I wonder what that tastes like. These young people are ripe for the OGs, the elders, the people who just lived a little bit to introduce something new. None of us got to be experts. That's the beauty of many hands make light work. Nobody has to be an expert. You just have to care. Like the sister Latoya said, keep reminding your neighbors. Buzz, buzz in their ear. And just like a seed, once you drop it, okay, the little kids is funny that sit and watch. Nothing happened, nothing happened. And then suddenly one day when you stop thinking about it, this beautiful sprout of black agriculture economics blossoms. And like you said, it becomes an economy around the world. I said economy, not charity. And it's to that degree that we changed not only our dependence within this food system, but our ability to thrive globally in a new world. This is a new world, not the one our parents grew up in, not the ones we grew up in. This is the time to seize upon the moment, family.
So let's seize the moment. Seize the moment, change the world. Let's change our trajectory in this world just by planting seeds and reaping a harvest. You know, I'm glad y'all pulled up to the cafe today. Again, we're trying to serve you a great meal. We're trying to feed you a great meal. We're trying to feed you a great meal. We're planting seeds. And as always, you know, we're fighting against that algorithm and we're pushing that algorithm. Y'all look down here at the motivation. It feels good when you plant something, see it grow, and reap the benefits of the harvest. Ag Motivation 101. Let's get it.
Pushing the black algorithm. Ancestors, they mastered the systems. We raising young bosses, no victims. Planting that knowledge curriculum. Blessing the roots with the nutrients. The darker the berry, black Nubian. Dropping receipts like I'm Julian. The streets with that food like Peruvian. Trapping the herbs and the fruits and the veggies. CSA boxes, my package is heavy. Ship across town in the bed of my Chevy. Printing them up, growing hard like that baby. If you stay ready, you ain't gotta scramble. Bet on black farmers and growers, no gamble. Reclaiming our bank cause the game is in shambles. Blessed with that melanin, carry the miracle. Mothers and fathers of civilization. Black to the garden with food cultivation. Building back better through black innovation. B1 community growing the nation. Genetically designed to be the dopest. Stoking that growth mindset. Codified, now we focus. Farming on back on track. Feed the fam, break bread with them. Pushing that B1AG algorithm. Now watch me get them, watch me get them. Pushing that B1AG algorithm. Feed the fam, break bread with them. Pushing that B1AG algorithm. Watch me get them, watch me get them. Pushing that B1AG algorithm.
Don't forget, you can also go to healthyblackfood.com, sign up, learn how to grow your own food. Learn how to grow your own food. We put together a great program, easy to follow, entertaining, very educational. You can watch this with your kids, participate with your kids, the young folks in your neighborhood, the elders in your neighborhood. Bring everybody back together. Right now, there's so much technology to mindsets to, everything splitting us apart. Let's come black together in the garden. Let's come black together in the garden. We all got to eat. And that's one thing food can do, is bring us all together. Food. It brings us together. Find a black farmer near you. If you got to stop and pause this video, look, take down this URL. Find a black farmer near you and break some bread. Spend some money. Learn from them. Learn from them. Learn from them. Also, like, share, and subscribe. B1AG Daily Bread Podcast on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. We got to grow this platform. We got to get this word out. Look, we're not talking about anything radical. We're not talking about anything controversial. We're talking about growing some food. We're concerned with you being able to feed yourself. What's so harmful about that, y'all? Don't we all have to eat? What's so harmful about some cream corn, some peas, some beans, a salad? There's nothing harmful about it. It's all healthy and it's all necessary. Like my bro always says, he who feeds you leads you. Let's take back our homes. Let's take back our communities. Let's take back our own existence just by growing our own food. Just by growing our own food. Reach out to us at b1aghiphop@gmail.com. Ask us anything if you want any information. We'll do our best to point you in the right direction. Point you in the right direction. Like, share, and subscribe. B1AG Daily Bread Podcast. We got merch available. b1agmerchandise.creatorspring.com. Help support the channel, y'all. We need some subscriptions. We're trying to get monetized here so we can get this word out even better. We need some subscriptions. We need some new subscribers. Got to get these views up. Help us out. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. That's another way to plant seeds. Help plant these seeds and water these seedlings. Like, share, and subscribe.
Bro, we went over the 15 minutes.
Yeah, we did. And I mean, hey, but this is, but main thing, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And we want to make sure that all our viewers, they're getting ready and staying ready so they don't have to get ready. It's ready mode. There's too many things going on. The economy, artificial intelligence, they're trying to cut off opportunities. Stores are closing. We need to stay ahead of the curve to make sure that our safety, well-being, food security is not affected. No matter what goes on in this economy, we want to make sure that we can eat. Because the thing about food, if the wealthy keeps cutting off our food, there'll be nothing left to eat but them. So let's make sure we got some seeds in the ground, we got some food growing, and we have a seat in the cafe. So, Farmer Brown, at the end of the day, if the people really, really want to know something, what do they need to do, bro?
Ready, set, grow. Ready, set, grow. Ready, set, grow. If you really want to know something, learn how to grow something.
There it is. Thank y'all for visiting us, sitting with us, chopping it up, having a meal with us here at the cafe. This is B1AG Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris, and we have Farmer Brown, the MC. Until next time, y'all. Peace.